They never saw you coming. They felt they could change reality, hide the truth, and remain unscathed. But they underestimated you. You are not only a spectator. You are the strength that they feared. The one who sees through fraud. The individual who refuses to remain quiet. You aren't here by coincidence. Everything you have gone through. Every instinct told you something was wrong. Every second, you felt the weight of concealed facts crush your soul. Everything had been prepared in advance. You are not like them. You don't run from the truth. You've revealed it. You don't cower in the face of darkness. You're responsible for starting the fire. And now, the moment they thought would never happen has arrived. Their culture was built on lies, and their relationships are collapsing as justice approaches. They thought they were untouchable. But they didn't count on you. They didn't anticipate someone who wouldn't turn away or give up. Who would brave the storm and reveal the truth when no one else would. This is your power. This is your moment. The reckoning is not coming. It has already come. And you? You were intended for this. Spiritual vision is an awakening that removes delusions. Tearing away the facades that others mistake for reality. It does not gently nudge. It strikes like a hammer against the existing untruths. To possess this sight is being burdened with a never-ending awareness. Ignorance is not a luxury, and shadows provide no comfort. Only the cutting intensity of discovering the deception revealed is not random. It is skillfully designed, with layers of deceit to keep the mind in check. Falsehoods are not simply spoken, they are woven into the fabric of daily life, creating an intricate labyrinth in which truth is obscured by artifice. Reality is a tapestry of concealed illusions that are painstakingly maintained to keep those trapped inside it uninformed. Recognizing this bears a weight that few can bear, a stark truth that isolates rather than discloses. Seeing is not without repercussions. It is to live on the fringes of understanding, where the invisible links that join others are as clear as day. The most awful element is not the deception itself, but the inability to investigate it. The structure remains whole and hinged because it is comfortable, and people who are submerged inside it escape the discomfort of exposure. Awareness does not just reveal. It isolates those who have it, forcing them to walk among the blind, knowing that their words will frequently be rejected by those who sense a quiet familiarity and whispered affinity amongst those who have seen beyond the veil. This shared understanding is both a burden and a call. It demands action, coerces speech, and refuses to be silenced. The impulse to shatter the illusion and bring light into dark locations is stronger than fear. Resistance is unavoidable. To divulge the truth jeopardizes the edifice built on deceit. However, the importance of information is not meant to be hidden. It's meant to be utilized. Those who travel with unobstructed eyesight are not alone. They are part of an unseen force. A stream running against the current of illusion. Consequences are not random occurrences. It depicts the fundamental balance of existence. Those who manipulate, deceive, and conspire against the natural order release energy that will return unrestrained. There is no conduct without weight, no lie without repercussions. The collapse starts gradually, with a sense of imbalance and a little distortion in the perfectly maintained illusion. But the fractures widen, and what was before unseen becomes visible. The unseen hand that once surreptitiously directed events is now caught in its own threads. The alignment of justice is not delayed nor lessened. It is an unstoppable force that will never fail. Reality does not forgive those who disrupt its order. It just waits, watching as the consequences unfold with uncanny precision. Dishonesty is like crafting a curse into one's own fate. They believe that their intelligence will shield them and make their wrongdoings vanish. However, the consequences of their actions remain with them like a second skin. Their lives disintegrate not by accident, but by necessity. What they formerly controlled is now slipping through their fingers. Bonds are broken, security evaporates, and the echo of their acts returns in whispers, reminding them of the price to be paid. This is not a temporary punishment. It leaves an impact on the fabric of their heritage. An imperceptible mark that is felt with time. People are not exclusively responsible for the debt they acquire. It causes a ripple effect, burdening everyone who follows. There is no evading this judgment. There is no asking for an exception. Justice does not seek retribution. It restores equilibrium. Taking responsibility for their own actions. They stood together, bound by a same goal. Each is feeding on the hunger of the others. Their relationship was never built on trust. It was a convenience, not an end in itself. They plotted stealthily, moving like shadows in quest of power. Believing in their joint may make them invincible. But behind their rehearsed commitment was something much more frail. You recognized it before they did. The flaws in their basis, the secret concerns that poisoned their every deed. Their cooperation lacked power. It was a fragile mechanism, held together by the same hunger that would eventually rip it apart. They bound themselves with secret pacts intertwined in a web of mutual self-interest, oblivious that treachery was already developing. One misstep, one shift in the wind, and all they had built would crumble into irreparable shards. Each turns against the other. Their sadness overpowered them. What is built on falsehoods cannot endure. A reckoning does not wait till they fall from their own weight. It hastens the form. They can feel it now. The walls were tightening in a tight grip on their own deception. Their muttering gets wild. Their confidence dwindles. And what once gave them confidence has changed to terror. Power earned by manipulation is an illusion. It does not give any shelter. When the storm strikes, they believe their secrets have been buried. However, the truth has already begun to surface. They will not collapse together. They will be torn apart. Each is left to confront the repercussions of their actions alone. When survival is at stake, loyalty fades. The structure they built was never a fortress, but rather a cage. And now the walls are falling, trapping them inside the destruction they caused. This is your time. Subscribe now and let's work together to achieve greatness. Deception is never motionless. It spreads, shifts and devours. It impacts everything. Each deception said does not just vanish. It lingers. Growing roots entangle both the delusional and the deceitful. The weight of each manufactured word influences the energy of reality, disrupting the natural flow of existence. What begins as modest aberrations rapidly accelerates, spiraling out of control. The architects of deception believe they are masters of their designs. However, the forces they release do not remain subservient. Falsehoods encourage conflict, with voices refusing to be silenced and growing in the shadows. The indications were always there, even before they became obvious. Their illusions are fractured, and their performances are inconsistent. The gradual collapse of their carefully manufactured stories. Nonetheless, they persisted, underestimating the risk of exposure. One act of dishonesty was never meant to be isolated. It was always meant to expand, forging a path to something much more horrible. The day will come when avoidance is no longer an option. The vibrations of imbalance become real, invading the lives of those who believe they are immune to repercussions. Hesitation replaces confidence. Uncertainty obscured their previously calibrated choices. The small warnings escalate into something much more serious, a power that does not negotiate. Then a price is necessary. The cost of their actions is not only symbolic. It is genuine and irreversible. Final. A threshold is crossed. There is no going back after that. The ultimate result is the same regardless of whether their actions were intentional or wreaked mayhem. Something is lost forever. Their arguments collapse in the face of what has been set in motion. Regret is futile when a responsibility has already been met. What was sacrificed in the sake of control? Were they driven by greed? Desperation? The urge to control something that was never meant to be theirs? These questions are no longer applicable. The answer is etched into the ruins that remain. No dishonesty results in silence. Every falsehood exacts a toll, and that cost is never less than everything. They were unprepared to lose. Guilt is not reserved for those who orchestrate evil. It also includes others who stayed mute while observing. The absence of action is an act in itself. Silent acceptance allows catastrophe to take hold. The hands that delivered the last blow are not the only ones dirty. The weight of inaction falls as heavily on those who stood at the edge of the storm, believing their distance absolved them. But silence is never neutral. It feeds the same forces it purports to resist. Those who discreetly gave their consent. Those who prefer the simplicity of looking away. Those who allowed the unavoidable to occur in exchange for their own protection. The consequences impact everyone engaged. They may have believed they were immune, but the consequences of their collaboration reached them anyway. Justice is not misled by the appearance of passivity. To see and remain unaffected is to concur with what has happened. No action happens in solitude. No consequence can occur without touching everyone involved. They felt that their tacit collaboration would absolve them of culpability. However, the results of their choices have already defined them. The reckoning does not discriminate. It appreciates all hands that contributed, whether via force or silence. If you are feeling an abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. To help spread God's blessings, click the Super Thank You button on YouTube and donate $20 or more. This lovely present will touch not just your life, but the lives of many others. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand plan via this platform, and your generosity will provide fruit for our prayers. Act now. Share your wealth to promote His kingdom, since you were created to do much more in God's loving hands. May God bless you. Justice does not hesitate. It makes no difference between those who conspire and those who just allow it to happen. Everyone who contributes, whether by action or omission, has some level of accountability. No deception is without repercussions. Those who protect the truth act as tenacious sentinels against deception, ensuring that no manipulation stays hidden for long. This isn't a simple notion. It is a power, a presence, and a symbol of a harmonious universe. Protection is not a fleeting gift. It is impenetrable armor that shields those who dare to share what others fear. Approaching this shield is not passive. It is a dynamic force that is both tenacious and unwavering. Created by something much greater than human intent. It is resistant to any plot, deceit, or repression attempt. It stands solid, motivated not by vengeance but by a steadfast commitment to clarity, integrity, and purpose. True strength never falters. It is rooted. Consistent, deliberate. Strength is not something you can just possess. It is produced via discipline and concentrated effort. Let each step represent an assertion. Each syllable. A declaration creates power over the spaces you inhabit. Allow no corruption to take root. Stay focused on the current moment. Feel the ground underneath you. Energy flows through everything that exists. Speak words. Not please, but affirmations. Surround yourself with goods that reduce the appearance of dishonesty. Allow the fire to burn. Cleanse. Allow the soil to soak. Allow the air to revitalize. These practices are not superstitions. They function as symbols of authority and control over disarray. A peaceful mind cannot be dominated. A firm heart cannot be persuaded. Resilience is the most severe form of pushback to forces that thrive on instability. Protection extends beyond the outer appearance. It is an irrefutable reality that nothing erected against the truth can stand. Make the leap. Subscribe now, and let's collaborate to create greatness. The foundation was not built on strength, but rather on necessity. Their relationship was not a collaboration. There was mutual dependency. An uncomfortable harmony among self-serving brains. Fractures were apparent. Long before they realized it, tension had been rising. The weight of laying pounds on the small threads that hold them together. They thought their construction was unbreakable. However, everything based on dishonesty is certain to collapse. Betrayal is not what kills people. It is built into their very being. Meddling is unnecessary in the unwinding process. It's a process that started with their choices. The illusions they crafted are collapsing under their own weight. They believe they are exempt from repercussions. But the reckoning has already begun. Collapse is not an option. It is a certainty that appears when people least expect it. Guilt does not bind, destroying the false security they so craved. It is a weight that crushes those who once stood together in secret. Since the inevitable unraveling, every glance is suspect. Each syllable is measured. Behind each encounter lies a hidden survival calculation. There is no loyalty in a place tainted by fear. They are no longer strategizing together. Instead, they anticipate who will be the first to be revealed. The fundamental foundation of their deception has turned against them, destroying what little togetherness they previously claimed. Their partnership, built on convenience rather than trust, is disintegrating from within. Their perspectives no longer align, their actions contradict their statements, and the urge to avoid punishment outweighs any lingering sense of community. The fractures deepen with each passing second and slide. A single blunder will be enough to send their fragile veneer crumbling down. The effort to keep their illusions alive becomes more intense. The performance is tiresome. Lies need continuous reinforcement, yet their effectiveness is fading. The mask that previously concealed their treachery is peeling away, revealing the discomfort that has built underneath. Anxiety gnaws at their resolve, turning them against one another before the decision is delivered. They cannot avoid the repercussions of their deeds. The weight of their lies will no longer allow them to find solace in ignorance. The light is closing in, not just showing them but also shattering every illusion they thought would protect them. No deception remains buried permanently. What was previously veiled under layers of fabrication is now coming to the surface. Unstoppable and undeniable truth will not remain silent. It glides through the unseen, making unmistakable appearances. Messages arrive gently, forcefully, and deliberately. A word murmured in the solitude of thought. A pattern that is too consistent to be a coincidence. An energy shift that influences the air around those who are paying attention. Reality begins to reject the falsehoods they peddle, shattering their well-built narratives beneath the weight of the truth. The unseen does not rest. The forces beyond the corporeal continue to function, ensuring that what was before hidden is disclosed. Intuition sharpens, perception improves, and the components come together without explanation. When the truth requires revelation, no secret is secure. The past does not fade. It imprints itself in time, ready to be exposed to light. Those who orchestrated dishonesty now confront a merciless stare that they cannot escape. Someone who knows not just what they did, but also why. The day of reckoning has already arrived. The illusion is collapsing, and no force can hold it together. The walls they built to keep the truth within are crumbling, and light is flooding in through every crack. The weight of exposure pulls at them, tightening its grip as it takes away their illusions one layer at a time. Until there are no more places to hide. They had previously thought that silence and secrecy would keep them safe. However, stillness was never considered a kind of protection. It was just a transitory problem. Realize your potential. Subscribe today and let's create something fantastic. Every warning ignored, every minute lost, counts as evidence against them. The truth does not disappear. It advances, tearing their carefully manufactured deceptions with unexpected strength. Their foundation was built on falsehood. Suddenly, the foundation collapses under them. They are no longer in charge. The power they feared most, the very thing they tried to suppress, has arrived. And it will not leave until all hidden actions are disclosed. Every lie is revealed, and every single person is held accountable for what they tried to conceal. The feeling of stillness was never intended to remain. It was a fragile barricade built out of fear and sorrow. They mistook hiding for protection, expecting that silence would forgive their sin, yet unspoken agreements might hold their world together. Silence is not a refuge. It is a weight that tightens its grip, burying them beneath the weight of their own lies. The barricades they erected to conceal the truth are already falling, weakened by the weight of what they sought to suppress. The task before you is straightforward. Dismantle their illusion, undermine their comfort in concealment, and reveal what they sought to conceal. This is not a task for the hesitant. It is a call for those who will not be intimidated. The energy inside you is unaffected by their attempts to dissuade or mislead you. The truth pours through you. Undeniable and unstoppable. There is no untruth that can withstand it. No effort at concealment can resist its force. The foundation of their lies is flimsy, and the weight of your words will be the deadly blow that crushes it to dust. Their worries are justified. Every word you say shatters another layer of their control, exposing the fabricated world they have so carefully built. Their shadows can no longer provide refuge. The energy they leave behind betrays them before they even realize they've been found. Deception does not vanish. It stays ingrained in areas people once thought were safe. Every whisper, movement, and secret communication is left behind. Traces that can't be eliminated. What they thought was concealed is still vibrating through the air, clinging to objects, and threatening the very fabric of their existence. The world has recorded their actions, and you are the one who can hear the echoes. The extent of their dishonesty is not intangible. It is palpable, dense, and oppressive, a presence that betrays them before they ever speak. They do not fear being exposed because of what it reveals. They're terrified of who will see it. You reveal not simply lies, but the whole fabric of their dishonesty. What was previously veiled is now in motion, breaking through the barriers on which they relied. Your actions do not contribute to their demise. It was set into effect long before you arrived. You're not a threat. They are their own demise. Their reckoning has already begun. All that remains is for the truth to take its course. There is no way out, no alternative, and no way to regain the authority they have lost. They are seeing the disintegration of the artificial world they constructed. And with each passing second, the barricades upon which they relied crumbled even more. The truth cannot be silenced. And neither will you. The weight of their actions cannot be shared, and the presence of others does not mitigate their humiliation. Each carries the stain of their own judgments, which cannot be transferred or erased. What they first saw as a refuge, a social barrier of concealment, was never a safety. This is just a temporary delay in what will eventually happen. No deception is spread evenly among conspirators. It clings to the soul, digging deep, and insists that everyone assume responsibility for their involvement in what occurred. The unraveling does not attack them as a whole. It isolates, divides, and forces everyone to stand alone under the weight of their own guilt. They created a partnership to evade responsibility. However, it has only accelerated their collapse. The ramifications of their acts reverberate throughout their lives, manifesting in ways beyond their control. Their connections, ambitions, and security all degrade as a result of an unseen force bearing on them. They are unable to escape the weight of their past. There is no shared aim that can lessen the pressure. No silent pact can undo what has already been begun. The truth, like the force that keeps everything in balance, never forgets. Events do not occur at random. It is comprehensive, deliberate, and exact. The moment of reckoning does not arrive too soon or too late. It arises at the precise time when resistance is futile, when the fractures have destroyed the foundation irreparably. The failure of deception is not an accident. It is an inescapable conclusion determined by a force beyond mortal control. The unraveling has its own pulse, a cadence woven into the fabric of time itself. Impatience serves no purpose. Exposure does not need force. Only presence. The truth does not need to be brought to light. It ascends of its own accord, tearing apart the illusion, accurately dismantling facades. Nothing hidden is left unaffected. No deception escapes unscathed. The weight of falsehood crushes those who have found solace in their own beliefs. The descent isn't abrupt. It's slow, methodical, and absolute. And once it reaches its apex, there will be no turning back. Only the naked, undeniable force of truth can claim what has always belonged to it. The truth is revealed without delay or uncertainty. It is an unstoppable force that moves with precision until its effects are irreversible. What is real will always emerge, no matter how deeply concealed or buried it is. It waits under the surface, accumulating strength and waiting to blast through any barrier erected to hold it at away. And when it happens, there will be no hesitation or resistance. The balance of justice is not arbitrary. It is a mechanism that is engaged long before the repercussions are obvious. The revelation is inescapable, and you are well positioned to anticipate it. You don't just observe. You embody the clarity that terrifies people. The presence. They can't keep quiet. The intricate web they built to entrap others in darkness will unravel under the weight of disclosure. No structure built on falsehood can withstand the unwavering strength of reality. And you are the center of this metamorphosis, the conduit through which light flows. The force that maintains equilibrium is undeniable. The potential to disrupt injustice originates from a refusal to stay silent. There is no retreat or neutrality in the face of falsehoods. Every suppressed truth, every hidden reality, awaits the perfect moment. It'll be spoken. And now is the time. Words aren't just sounds. They are skilled weapons capable of demolishing what was meant to go undetected. The story is unheard. The disclosures concealed the information behind the uncertainty. These are the tools for demolishing the illusion. To proceed is to draw back the curtain, depriving deception of its refuge. The transformation does not happen quietly. It is fueled by people who refuse to accept the weight of hidden realities without question. Speak boldly, move without hesitation, and watch as the buildings built to conceal the truth collapse under the weight of their own fragility.